Okay, now I'm having at least one customer that's having difficulty understanding how the extension leaf fits into the box. Now, I'm going to show you how this works on this unit, which is actually my hobby box. That's something I sell on my woodworking gifts website. And it's a little bit different. You're going to see this device is made quite a bit differently, as is this device as well. But the way the extension leaf fits into the box is the same. And the key here is that we have these two pieces. Okay, now, in the case of the Grubby 1 and the Grubby 2, I think I call this either a toothbrush holder or a shelf support. And it depends on which slots you put it in. It's going to make it one or the other. If you put it here, you then have the ability to stick whatever you like in there, toothbrushes, of course, or whatever else. But if you put it all the way up on the top, then it becomes a shelf support for the extension leaf or extension shelf. The key here is this. This part bolts on to the extension leaf. And this particular, it's the same whether it has legs on it or not. If Grubby 2, it may not have legs on it, but this one has legs on it. And the thing is, this part right here, which has that sort of, well, I guess L shape to it and some holes in it. Notice the holes. It bolts right onto this. Now what's going to happen is this whole piece is going to turn upside down, and then it's going to fit over this, and the two lips on the pieces are going to lock together. Okay? So, what we have to do is take this shelf support, stick it in the top section, and I give you a couple screws there. Well, if you have a kit or an unfinished, I give you a couple screws. If you're building your own, you're going to have to scrounge your own up somewhere. Okay. Now, this is a little bit different. It's a little bit different length and such, but that's only because this one is made for a Grubby 1 or a Grubby 2. Now, the principle of operation is the same, though. You see how that bolts on. There is one other difference, and that is that on this hobby box I put a slot in that piece right here. And I do that because on the hobby box I need it to be a little more rigid, the piece has to be a little more solid, because it's more like a workbench than just a work surface. The way this thing works is it comes up like that, and then we end up with, let's see if I can make sure you get this in here. You end up with a fairly positive leg pair. That is, it's positively fixed. Now, I do that on the hobby box because when we turn this thing around this way, it may very well be sitting on a slick floor, and therefore it would be easy to knock these out. Whereas in the camping community, it's sitting down on the ground, and it's a whole lot less likely you're going to have that problem. But you see what happened now. If we look over here, and we move this, is that now we have this lip and this lip. All we have to do is push that in, and then push them straight down, and it locks in place. And that's the whole principle behind how this device works. Now, in the case of this hobby box, I take another dowel and stick it through here, which is what this slot is all about. This slot right here, and that locks it down into place. so that you can't accidentally knock it out. And like I say, the reason I do that is because this is almost a little more like a bench than you might have out there in the camping world. So I think this kind of stuff is a little overkill out there in the camping world. Some people might want to do that. I mean, some of us are overkill kind of people. That's just the way we think. This, by the way, is a pretty cool box you might want to try building. I have a set of plans for this, and it's really a lot of fun to build. Very similar to a Grubby 1 or Grubby 2. So anyway, I hope that answers your questions, Maureen, and anybody else that's having trouble understanding how these things work.